All right, let's talk about something that's running in the background of your life every single day, but you probably never really see it: public finance. Basically, it's the rule book for how our country spends its money, our money. So the big question is, how does it all actually work? I mean, just think about it. Every single road, every public school, every single government service, it all costs money. The scale of it is just mind-boggling. So how on earth does a nation juggle trillions of transactions, from giant infrastructure projects down to a pen for a government office, without everything just falling into complete chaos?
The best way to think about it is like this. It's the ultimate group project, and the project is managing the nation's wallet. Every single citizen, that's you and me, we're all stakeholders here. We all chip in with our taxes, so we have a right to know that our money is being handled the right way.
Now, you can't manage a wallet this huge with just a simple spreadsheet, right? No way. You need a rock-solid blueprint, a system that's literally designed from the ground up to build trust and make sure every single dollar is accounted for.
And that blueprint has a name: public financial accounting. Now, this is way more than just counting cash. It's a really strict four-step process. First, every single transaction gets recorded. Then, it's classified. Was this money for healthcare or defense? Next, all that data gets summarized. And finally, and this is the important part, it's all reported back to us, the public. It's this constant cycle of transparency.
This entire system is held up by what you could call 5 pillars of public trust. You've got accountability, which shows us exactly where our money went; transparency, which makes sure it's all reported out in the open; legal compliance proves all the rules were followed; and then you have decision support, which gives leaders good data to make smart choices; and auditability, which lets independent watchdogs and us check their work.
So how do you actually build a system this massive? Well, it doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It really boils down to 2 key components: a super strict set of rules and a really powerful engine to make it all run.
The rulebook starts at the very top, with the federal Constitution laying out the big picture. Then you have laws underneath it, like the Federal Procedure Act and the Audit Act, that spell out the nitty-gritty of day-to-day operations and make sure everything can be audited. All of this together forms the legal backbone of public finance.
Okay, now for the engine. For a long time, the government used an older system called SPKB, but back in 2007, it got a massive upgrade. The new system is called GFMAS, the Government Financial Management and Accounting System. And believe me, this wasn't just a small tweak. It was a huge leap forward into a whole new era of financial management.
So what makes this GFMAS engine so much better? Well, for one, it's an integrated system, which means it tears down the walls between budgeting and accounting. It gives real-time data, so the financial picture is always up to the second. It uses secure electronic payments, which cuts down on delays. And, critically, it can automatically generate the reports needed to keep everyone, from lawmakers to the public, in the loop.
But, like any gigantic, complex system, it's not perfect. Even with a powerful engine and a strong rulebook, there are still some pretty big hurdles to clear. Let's call them cracks in the foundation that really need to be fixed.
The first major challenge is fragmentation. So, while the federal government is using this advanced GFMS system, some state-level governments might be on different, maybe older systems. It's like trying to put a puzzle together when some of the pieces are from a completely different box. It makes getting one clear national picture really tough.
Second, there's this unfinished transition in how the accounting is actually done. Right now, the system uses what's called a modified cash basis. Think of it like your checking account. Money is only counted when it actually leaves or enters. But the global gold standard is accrual accounting. That's more like your credit card statement. It records an expense the second you commit to it, not just when you pay the bill. It gives a way more accurate picture of future debts. But that full switchover isn't done yet.
And finally, you've got the human factor. At the end of the day, a system is only as good as the people running it. There's a real need for more highly trained accounting pros inside some government agencies, and a shortage of those experts can, lead to delays in financial reporting, which kind of weakens that pillar of transparency we talked about earlier.
But hey, knowing the problems is the first step to solving them, right? So how is the system being beefed up for the future? The good news is, there's a very clear plan in place to patch up these cracks in the foundation.
So here's the 4-point plan in action. First, finish that transition to full accrual accounting. That's for total transparency. Second, integrate GFMAS even better with other systems to get that one complete picture. Third, keep expanding digital payments to make every single transaction traceable. And fourth, invest in people. Get more training programs going to build the skills needed to run this whole thing perfectly.
Look, at the end of the day, it's a journey, not a destination, and this quote really nails it. The key is to keep combining ongoing reforms with better and better technology. It's this constant push to build a more accountable and efficient system for that national wallet that we all share. Which kind of leaves us with one final thing to think about. When you're dealing with something as massive and messy as a country's finances, is a perfect system even possible? Or is the real goal just that constant, never-ending process of improving, adapting, and reforming to build more and more public trust? Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.